This channel is dedicated entirely to discussing how to reliably prevent ransomware, viruses, and Trojans, and to uncovering the tricks that those whose systems were unfortunately hacked have fallen for.
No way. I'm getting hacked.
This is the YouTube channel that is exclusively dedicated to the security of computer networks and companies. Stay tuned. Here you will learn how IT security in corporate networks works. Full transparency, I'm Thorsten Valentin, the Managing Director of Seculution GmbH, a German company. Since 2001, we have been exclusively doing nothing but IT security through application whitelisting. So, behind this channel is the team of Seculution GmbH. Protecting a computer network reliably from viruses and ransomware is, without a doubt, a solved problem. Despite this, many companies are hacked every day. But how? Don't they all use antivirus?
They've already burned through the NCIS public firewall.
We will shed light on these questions in this channel because here, it's truly all about how to best protect corporate networks. Security experts worldwide agree that, technically speaking, application whitelisting is by far the safest and most reliable solution against any type of malware. And yet, most administrators still rely on traditional antivirus solutions. But why is that?
But why?
The reasons are often prejudices and ignorance about modern application whitelisting solutions workings, and we aim to clarify that here. We will publish videos here on hopefully all questions about application whitelisting and delve deep into the technical backgrounds of application whitelisting. In this process, we will also highlight the inherent challenges of using application whitelisting and explain the measures that can be taken to effectively overcome these challenges. Common pitfalls and best practices are also addressed. The channel will therefore consist of many small and sometimes less small videos that deal with individual application whitelisting related questions.
Looking forward to seeing more.
This channel targets professional IT infrastructure operators, administrators, data protection officers, IT managers, executives, IT service providers, nerds, tech enthusiasts, and anyone curious about protecting business networks against malware. The target audience should be professionals responsible for the IT security of companies. So this is not about securing individual computers of private individuals. And why are so many networks still victims of malware today, even though they all already use antivirus products that actually promise protection? Because everyone, really everyone, relies on the same blacklisting-based technology for protection, which was not reliable even 20 years ago.
It's completely reliable.
The reasons why companies still fall victim to malware today are indeed quite diverse, and I can't cover all of them at once in this video. We don't have that much time here now, but almost as a preview for the other videos on this channel, where we will then illuminate the details.
Details, my dear, mere details.
Here as short as possible, and it might not be that short. A few details. Why even today, so many companies fall victim to malware, even though really everyone uses current antivirus products that promise protection. So, traditional antivirus products, and we're now shortening them here as virus scanners essentially. And that's not entirely incorrect to call it that, but we'll delve into that topic later. They are all fundamentally based on blacklisting. This means the virus scanner must first know the threat in order to react to it.
We are all in danger!
And I know now one or the other will contradict here because they have read marketing promises that claim otherwise. But still, once again, the manufacturer of the virus scanner must always first be aware of the threat in order to react to it and create rules that he then enters into his blacklist. These rules on the blacklist then ensure that this previously unknown threat is now recognized. And because no antivirus manufacturer can know every ransomware that an attacker writes tomorrow, they cannot protect against it. This is fundamentally so. And this is not a problem that shows up with this technique depending on the manufacturer. This is the simple reason why so many companies become victims. No antivirus manufacturer can know tomorrow's malware, so it can't protect against it either. It's that simple, very simple logic. If that weren't the case, the virus scanner wouldn't need updates. So if all these promises from virus scanner manufacturers were true, that even new and unknown malware is detected, then one could simply install such a virus scanner and would be protected from then on without updates forever.
No, I don't need an update every 5 minutes.
And that's nonsense. We all know that. And it's only logical, because that's exactly why you have to constantly install these virus scanner updates. These updates are the rules for blacklisting, which are then updated. So, the reactions to malware that has remained unknown so far. Guaranteed security with application whitelisting. Although this video is actually more about introducing the channel and we are not going into detail yet, we now have to explain what application whitelisting actually is and how it works. Let's compare this with virus scanners. Virus scanners work with a blacklist, which is a list of software that is supposed to be banned. And this means that any software can be executed, provided it is not recognized and classified as malicious by the blacklist rules of the virus scanner. Or in other words, everything is allowed, and the virus scanner then makes the exception to the rule that everything is allowed, when it concludes that the software could be malicious software.
Not on the list. Security?
With application whitelisting, it is exactly the opposite. Application whitelisting products work with a whitelist, that is, a list of the software that should be allowed. And this means that, indeed, only software can be executed if it is listed specifically on the whitelist rules of the application whitelisting product. Any other software, including any malware that might potentially be invented in the future, simply cannot be executed at all. Or to put it another way, everything is simply forbidden. And the application whitelisting product then makes the exception to the rule that everything is forbidden, if the software is recognized as known and trustworthy software.
Then once they get to know me, they adore me?
Another analogy, it's like being at two parties. At the blacklist party, the bouncer admits all not on his blacklist, that is, the list of felons. At the whitelist party, the bouncer only lets in those who are on his whitelist, that is, his list of trusted and invited guests. So, two completely opposite approaches. Our blacklist bouncer must know and recognize all serious criminals, otherwise he lets everyone in. At our whitelist party, the bouncer must recognize the guests.
Wait, I know you.
And otherwise turns everyone away. People have always utilized the whitelisting process in their personal area. Having a list of allowed and absolutely trustworthy individuals and rejecting all other people is the normal, established approach when securing your front door at home. How absurd the idea of the blacklisting process actually is becomes clear when you consider what the application of the blacklisting process would look like in everyday life. No one secures their home, their front door, with the principle that everyone is allowed in the house as long as they are not known as a serious criminal. But in the corporate network, this is common practice, and therefore the reason why the networks are vulnerable to attackers. Okay, let's not only present the advantages, but also let's say the notable challenges of the two distinct approaches. With blacklisting, all serious criminals must be recognized, with whitelisting all desired guests. That sounds simple at first, but it might not be in detail.
What is what?
As simple as it sounds, recognizing and allowing all trustworthy programs, we also have to ensure with application whitelisting that the whitelist really contains all the software that we then use on the computer. And if a software on the computer changes, for example, through an update, then exactly this new software, that is exactly this update, must also be known in the whitelist for it to work. And if a software is not on the whitelist, then the software does not work initially, and the employees cannot work with it until the administrator has added the software to the whitelist. This can affect the whole computer during a Windows update and, in the worst case, paralyze it for some time. This really doesn't sound like a simple solution, and that's why so many people have continued to use such an insecure principle as the blacklisting process. The people responsible for business networks, i.e. the administrators, have a legitimate concern that maintaining the whitelist involves a tremendous amount of extra work. And who would voluntarily acquire software that will apparently create more work for them?
It's too much work.
Most administrators have also heard of application whitelisting, and very many have then also tried it out. But what does almost everyone do when wanting to look at new technology? They install the free version, like the one built into the existing antivirus product, but not activated yet. Or simply the one Microsoft provides with Windows like AppLocker. And voila, tried it out, right?
Or...
The experience one has during such a test is that, technically speaking, application whitelisting offers by far the best protection one has ever seen. But at the same time, there's the shock that suddenly the responsibility for maintaining the whitelist lies with the admin. And there it becomes very, very quickly very, very difficult. A network with about 1,000 workstations is at about 150-200 software updates per day. Microsoft Windows updates alone already account for about 20% of this. Someone has to be responsible for evaluating this new software and adding it to the whitelist. So, does application whitelisting work? Yes, it certainly does. It works excellently. For example, when using an application whitelisting product, where the maintenance of the whitelist is almost completely outsourced to IT security experts through a service. Just as one doesn't maintain the blacklist at the VN scanner themselves, one can also let most whitelist maintenance to the security experts of the application whitelisting provider if offered. He may not know the internal, company-specific, perhaps self-programmed individual software, but these are usually just a few programs that the administrator can easily add to his own local whitelist and which do not change frequently.
You know what they all do, right? Yes, of course.
With application whitelisting products that offer this service, the biggest hurdle for the use of application whitelisting is directly removed. The service provider manages 99% of the maintenance for the whitelist for all customers. The employing IT security professionals include new trustworthy software in the whitelist from which all customers of this service provider benefit equally. Because in fact, about 99% of the software products used are distributed among just 800 software manufacturers. The IT service provider can deliver its services to all customers, and each customer has outsourced a large and important task to a service provider. A win-win situation.
Win-win.
But aren't the promises of application whitelisting for this oh-so-great protection just as much promises, just like with classic antivirus solutions? No. Application whitelisting is a completely different technique. Application whitelisting does the opposite of what the virus scanner does. The virus scanner allows everything but exceptionally forbids certain programs, which its maker defines as evil. Application whitelisting forbids everything and exceptionally allows the programs that are known to be trustworthy for professional use in the company's network. Thus, logically, it's impossible for malware to stay undetected, as application whitelisting doesn't try to recognize malware. This is, so to speak, the intro to our YouTube channel. Thus, we can't cover every topic in detail here. In this video, I briefly introduce the objectives and structure of this channel, so the technical content is only briefly touched upon, and more just an orientation to the question of what one can roughly expect here. Everyone is encouraged to watch other videos on this channel and familiarize themselves with application whitelisting. With this bad pun, we conclude our video. If you subscribe, the folks at YouTube will nicely inform you when new content appears here. Clicking on the corresponding buttons could therefore be the first step that ultimately leads to reliably securing your network against malicious software. And anyone who wants to get in touch goes to the website linked below in the description, www.applicationwhitelisting.com, and there they will find ways to get in touch. Or you can click on one of these videos because we should never stop learning.